Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial. Today's review will be the Amazon Originals series, The Boys. Let's get into it. So when I seen the trailers for The Boys and I hear some reviews on it, I was pretty much like, what is this? And did a little research on it, and The Boys is actually actual comic out there, and I guess Netflix wanted to get their own superhero comic and making it originals on their streaming platform. As you all know, that Netflix had Marvel, and now Disney has took over the full Marvel rights and licensing. Disney's about to launch their own streaming platform in which they plan to put their own superhero streaming. I haven't seen DC do anything with streaming yet. Besides, they got that Krypton TV show, and I think there's a Teen Titans TV. I don't know where that one is actually, what platform that's actually on. I gotta do some research on that. But if you're watching this video and you do know the platform that Teen Titans, the actual series, is on, let me know. Leave it in the comment. But nevertheless, you got The Boys. And so when I seen this, it's pretty much some created superheroes. And it has the different characters, but they have the powers of our characters that we already know and that we've grown to love over the years and stuff like that. So, for starters, you had the main character is named Homelander. He has all the powers of Superman without the minus of kryptonite as his weakness. There's also a character by the name of the Deep. He's basically like Aquaman. You have a character named what's her name? Annie January. I really didn't see. She like got powers like Jubilee, where she's powerful. She used the lights and stuff like that. Her eyes light up. You also have a character by the name of Queen Maeve. Her powers is she's kind of look like Superwoman in a sense. The only difference is she can't fly like Superwoman, because Superwoman can still fly and stuff like that. So she don't have that ability. There's a character by the name of A-Train. He's basically the Flash. His powers are like the Flash. There's a character by the name of Black Noir, and he's kind of like a ninja guy. He doesn't really talk, and you don't really see. You don't see like who's underneath the mask. But I'm gonna tell you some little hidden secrets about him. And then there's the other guy named Translucent, and he's pretty much an invisible man. And you'll find out about him through my telling you the whole synopsis of this series. So you have some familiar actors that did play in this movie, starting with Karl Urban. He plays as Billy Butcher, who is the lead of The Boys. You had Anthony Starr. He actually plays as Homelander. And if you don't know who Anthony Starr is, he plays in a popular show that was on Showtime called Banshee. Good show. Was on for like 3-4 seasons. I really rock with that show. I didn't know who Homelander looked familiar to me while I was watching it, but I really didn't know who it was because of the blonde hair. Then I looked it up, and then that's Anthony Starr. Because on Homelander, on Banshee, he had low cut, and he had black hair, so that's the difference right there. You had Laz Alonso. His name is Mother's Milk, and he's part of the Boys group. And then there's who else was familiar? Simon Pegg. He plays as the father of Hugh Campbell. Hugh Campbell is actually part of the boys. So let's get into it. So what happens is there's a corporation called the Vault, who was a failed corporation, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they was a failed corporation because they made military weapons, but they were lazy or used cheap products. And when the military went to use the products from them, because they used cheap products, the guns jammed at a time that the military needed to use the weapons, and they end up losing because of that. So the company was a joke. So out of nowhere, they were able to get a hold of superheroes, which they leased out to different cities of the country to bring down crime. And in the process of all that, they had the superheroes led by Homelander do merchandising, do movies, commercials, endorsements, and it became this big thing. So like they took the movie aspect, how we see like Avengers and stuff like that, but they actually made it into real life. So, but it made it a corporation. So now, while these superheroes are actually saving crimes and they have casualties, so like how do you say casualties of war or collateral damage? That means somebody dies in the process of you doing something good, or not necessarily doing something good, but you know, in the process of you doing whatever, some innocent people might get killed. So they have that, and so over the time, they have had people who have died in the process of them saving something else or whatever. So it starts with the character Hugh and his girlfriend, where he's his girlfriend, they're talking about life, and then she's in the street, and in the process of her being in the street, it just shows slow motion, and it shows all this blood everywhere, and it shows the character A-Train, where he ran through her. He was running so fast and didn't see her. He ran through her, and she exploded by him running through her. And so the character Hugh, that was his girlfriend and love of his life, and he was distraught, and he pretty much was upset, and he ran a Radio Shack type store, and the company, the big company that had the superheroes, tried to like give him a little check of $45,000 for his loss, and you know, sign a waiver where he couldn't talk about it and stuff like that. He refused it at first. So then from there it the Billy Butcher reached out to him because he recognized what happened to him. He had some beef with the Supes as well. They call them the Supes in the series. So he was recruiting, and then Billy Butcher also recruited his old guys as well, which is Milk Money and Frenchie. I mean Mother's Milk and Frenchie or whatever, and they was pretty much done, but he recruited them both. So that's pretty much how it started initiating. And Billy Butcher was using Hugh because he could get into the corporation because they were already trying to get him to sign this disclosure form. So his thing was, tell them you're willing to sign it, but you want to meet with A-Train one-on-one. You want him to make an apology to you face to face. They agreed to do it, but he gave him like a tracking device or a device that can listen into on their conversation. So he couldn't really get it on A Train, so he put it in the room. But he didn't know that there's a character by Translucent, the Invincible Man, was there the whole time watching him and seeing where he put the thing at. And so Translucent followed him back to his Radio Shack like type job that he owned or whatever. And so when he showed up and told him, like, basically like, who are you? I seen what you did. Billy Butcher pretty much knew that he would do that. So he showed up and hit Translucent with a car, and then they got in a big fat battle scene. And Translucent's body is even though he's invincible, his skin texture is like metal or something like that. So they electrocuted him, shocked him, knocked him out. And then they captured him. Meanwhile, there's also a character named Annie January. So she's new. She ended up meeting Hugh organically. They met at a park bench, and then they started, chemistry or whatever. So they started dating a little, but it ended up turning into him pretty much like befriending her so he could get more information on the company and stuff like that. She didn't know. So they pretty much Frenchie, Billy Butcher, and Hugh had the suit Translucent captured, and they trying to get information from him. He not giving up no information. They didn't know how. They kept torturing him, but they didn't know how to get nothing out of him. So pretty much Frenchie, who's like high on like, he's real smart. He don't look it, but he's smart. He figured out that the insides of Translucent is weak. The outside of him is indestructible, but the inside is weak. So they put a bomb up inside of him, so that letting him know if he did anything, they'll blow him up from the inside, because he's not indestructible from the inside. So that was his weakness, and they left. They had to go do something, and they left. What's his name? What's that guy's name? Oh, Hugh there. They left Hugh there pretty much, and then Hugh was left there with him, and Translucent tried to escape. And when he tried to escape, Hugh pretty much told him, like, you don't want to be part of X, Y, and Z. And then Translucent started talking stuff, and Hugh put the detonate bomb, and it blew Translucent up. So they killed one of the soups. The soups is called, they call themselves the Seven. So there pretty much was an APB out on Translucent. America loved Translucent, and he was always on shows and stuff, but they pretty much was telling America that he was off on another mission, a secret mission, but amongst themselves in the company, everybody was know he was missing. So back to the Homelander character, he's pretty much like, he's a superhero, but he got a real strong dark side, where he like Superman might try to save people, but he tries to save people without hurting other people. Homelander is more like he saved people. Superman wouldn't use his beams to fry the average. Like if a guy was robbing the bank or something, he used something else to capture the robber, and so that the cops could get him or whatever. Homelander's not like that. He used his beam to fry the person that was stealing or robbing a bank and stuff like that. So just so you know what type of character he is. So he always had like mental issues. So that's part of like where you seen Superman come from Krypton, land in the field. He was raised with love. So that was kind of where his upbringing come from, to love people. And Homelander didn't have that. And so they had him, when he was out in the press, fake his history. And this is where you find out that these Supes were not born the way they were born. They were created. There's a serum called Compound V that was injected in them as babies, and that's how they created and got their powers. Homelander was the first version of that. And so you find out that he didn't have no childhood. He was raised in a lab as a test rat, pretty much. So that's why he has no real true feelings. And the person he has feelings for was somebody that took to him, that kind of used him as, in a sense, a sex object, if you want to think that way. But that was pretty much the PR person for the company. Her name was Madeline Stillwell, actress Elizabeth Shue, and she pretty much was the PR person for the whole company. And she put everything. She put out fires. Anything that the Supes did, she would contact the people and bury the thing. So while all this is series by series, we're not giving you play by play. I'm just giving you the overall synopsis. So you got the boys who want revenge against the Supes, and they're finding ways to get closer in there. Now Billy Butcher, the main thing, why he hates the Supes, because he had a wife. She was an employee of the company, trying to move up, and someone came and showed his wife disappeared, and out of nowhere, and then they showed her a video of his wife going into a room with Homelander. 3 hours later, she comes out of the room. She looks like her clothes is half off, and after that, she disappeared. He took from that scene that he raped her, so he always had this revenge for Homelander. And he wanted to get at the Supes to get at Homelander. But come to find out, he really didn't rape her. She was a groupie just like the rest of the females that Homelander was running into. And he didn't rape her. He did have sex with her, but he didn't rape her. It was consensual. So, excuse me. From there, you don't find out that till later in the film. So after all these things is going on, the plot is to get to Homelander and Billy Butcher and all these other things is going on. Billy Butcher finally meets with Homelander at the end of the film, and so you find out that he didn't rape her. They were the main PR person that was lying to Homelander, because he really liked that woman, and Homelander found out that she was pregnant. So the one lady told him that the woman had a miscarriage. The other guy told him that she died at birth. She was pregnant and she died at birth. So he was being lied to because both of their stories was wrong. So he ended up squeezing the other guy to get the information. Found out that she actually was alive. So Billy Butcher's, he felt his weakness was the person Madeline that Homelander really felt. So he tied her up in C4, told Homelander to come. She had a child, and they were in the kitchen or wherever they was at in the house, and Homelander pretty much, oh, this is my weakness. You want her to blow up in front of me? So he talked to her the whole time, and he fried her eyes because he knew she lied to him. So he looked over at Billy Butcher like, well, this was your plan. I really must kill your plan. So Billy Butcher said, well, what the hell? He blew her up regardless. Next scene, it shows Billy Butcher waking up, and Homelander say, hey, buddy, wake up, And then you see this kid come running out that's resemblant of Homelander. Homelander speaks to the kid, do you know who I am? And he like, yeah, you're Homelander. But he looks just like Homelander. And he tells the kid, I'm really your dad. Your mom never told you. Out comes Billy Butcher's wife. And Now Billy Butcher seeing his wife Becca. Now he know Homelander didn't rape her, and he didn't kill her. She really had, she had an affair on him, and disappeared because she was pregnant with Homelander's child, and she had Homelander's child, and so now that's the twist. But that's how the series ended. It's about 8 episodes. I didn't give you play-by-play of every little thing that happened, so that's just a synopsis of the whole series. It was a decent series. Some backstory from the comics. I read some things on the comics, so they did sway a little from the comics. So in the comics, the Black Noir character that's one of the Supes, they said he's a clone of Homelander. He's a clone of Homelander. I don't know if they're going to flip that, because the Black Noir ninja character didn't speak the whole time, and you really don't know. So I think they saying in the comics he's a clone of Homelander. So you really don't know. So I guess that's something that they could show in future series, season 2 or season, whatever, if it's a hit like that. But I think it's going to be a hit because it's interesting and to watch. And from there, what else I might have forgotten? Like how Homelander in the actual comic, I think Homelander was killed or something like that or whatever. But of course, they're not going to do that in this one because it's going to make too much popularity, and you can't kill him this too soon. So overall, it was a decent series to watch. I didn't know it was an actual comic at first, so I did find out that, and I will be watching season 2. So shout out to Amazon for creating their own originals, bringing it to the screen, having their own superhero series to bring more attention to Amazon Prime Video. They're making moves. And now here's my rating out of the 4-star rating system. I'm going to give this 3 out of 4 stars. I think it was decent. You should watch it so that you could be on board with it. Subscribe and like the video. Comment if you did already see the series, how you liked it, who was your favorite character or whatever. Maybe you might have more information that I didn't know. Till next time.